A heart-touching Rapple of Hope original story. The rain didn't care that she hadn't eaten in 2 days. It didn't stop when her feet gave up or when her voice cracked from crying. It poured down with merciless cold, soaking the frayed hoodie she wore, sticking it to her skin like punishment for daring to still be alive. Her hands trembled as she approached the towering gate of the mansion, her breath shaky and faint. The umbrella above the guard's head cast a long shadow across the ground, but she stood outside it, drenched, barefoot, and starving. With cracked lips and a voice so faint it could have been the wind, she asked, "Can I clean your mansion, for just a plate of food?" What she didn't expect was the silence that followed, and the man who appeared at the door behind the guard, stepping forward slowly, and then freezing in place, as if he'd seen a ghost. Broken heart, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of compassion, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to Rapple of Hope. Your support helps us keep telling stories that touch the soul. She didn't know that the man standing frozen behind the gate was Alexander West, CEO of Westtech Innovations and one of the youngest self-made billionaires in the country. His eyes weren't just stunned, they were haunted. Her face, beneath the dirt and sorrow, was familiar. Too familiar. But she couldn't see him clearly. Hunger had turned her vision blurry, her knees weak. She didn't ask again. She simply lowered her head, ready to be turned away like every door she'd knocked on this week. But instead, the gates opened. Just a week ago, Maya had been a college student studying literature, living with her single mother who worked 2 jobs just to keep them afloat. But everything unraveled the day her mother collapsed at work and was diagnosed with late-stage cancer. Medical bills piled up like mountains overnight. Maya sold everything, her books, her laptop, her clothes, just to buy her mother medication and a few warm meals. Eventually, even their apartment was gone. The landlord didn't care about sad stories. Maya and her mother spent their final days together on a hospital bench before her mother passed away with only her hand to hold. After that, Maya wandered through the city like a forgotten shadow, too young for shelters, too quiet to be noticed. She wasn't just homeless. She was invisible. Alexander West didn't believe in miracles. He believed in numbers, contracts, and loyalty, until the loyalty he invested in his own family shattered. Years ago, before his success, he fell in love with a girl named Rosa, kind, poor, but full of laughter. They dreamed of building a future together, but his parents disapproved. They said she was a distraction. A nobody. When he left for Harvard, he promised Rosa he'd come back. But he didn't. Pressured by his father, he chose ambition over love. And one day, when he returned to find her, she was gone. He never saw her again. Until now. As Maya stepped into the grand marble foyer of the mansion, she felt smaller than ever. The chandeliers shimmered above her like distant stars, and her reflection in the polished floors startled her. She didn't belong here. She didn't want charity, just a job, even if it meant scrubbing floors on her knees. But before she could speak again, the man who had frozen at the door stepped closer. Alexander. He looked at her like time had reversed. Her eyes, those eyes. They weren't Rosa's, but they held the same fire, the same quiet strength. His voice broke as he finally asked, "What's your name?" She told him, softly. Maya. His heart dropped. That was Rosa's name too, her full name, Rosa Maya Delgado. Could it be? He asked her about her mother, her life, her past. She was hesitant at first, guarded. But something about his presence disarmed her. She told him about Rosa, her mother, how she used to talk about her first love who left for college and never came back. That she forgave him, even on her deathbed. She still smiled when she remembered him. Alexander turned pale. The truth sliced through his chest like a blade. He hadn't just lost Rosa, he had abandoned her. And this girl, this brave, trembling girl standing in front of him, was his daughter. The next days passed like pages of a novel Maya never thought she'd be part of. He didn't reveal the truth immediately. Instead, he offered her work, not as a cleaner, but as his assistant. She resisted at first. It felt like pity. But the warmth in his eyes wasn't pity. It was guilt. It was love trying to fix what had broken. Slowly, Maya accepted. She worked hard, smarter than anyone in the office. Alexander watched her with awe. She had her mother's empathy, her strength, and more courage than most CEOs he had ever dealt with. One night, as they sat across from each other in the mansion's kitchen, her sipping soup, him nursing a glass of wine, he couldn't hold it anymore. He told her everything. How he left Rosa. How he never knew about Maya. How sorry he was. Maya's spoon froze in her hand. Her breath caught. Silence wrapped around them like fog. Then tears. Not from anger, but from heartbreak, healing, and every emotion she'd held in since her mother died. She didn't scream. She didn't run. She just whispered, "You're too late, but I still forgive you." That night, Alexander cried alone for the first time in years. Months passed, and the mansion slowly transformed, not with renovations, but with laughter. Maya didn't just rebuild her life, she gave Alexander a new one. They visited her mother's grave together. He laid roses and whispered the apology he'd buried for decades. He vowed to build something meaningful in Rosa's name, a shelter for homeless women and children, where no one would have to beg for a plate of food just to survive. Maya now runs the shelter. She chose to keep working, not out of need, but because she wanted to honor her mother's strength. Alexander didn't buy her forgiveness with money. He earned it with time, truth, and transformation. And every night, when the lights go out and silence returns, Alexander looks at a photo on his desk, Rosa holding baby Maya, and smiles with tears in his eyes. He knows he can never change the past. But with Maya, he finally has a chance to be the man he should have been. Rose, if this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe to Rapple of Hope. Every share helps us bring more true inspired stories of love, loss, and redemption to the world.